Success Mentorship class number 182. And our topic for today is time management. And as you know, all of our teachings are based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, which of course is available on Amazon, on most of your digital websites, and of course through our own website, herbertharris.com. All right, we have people joining us on our Zoom. When we do the broadcast live, we also have a success mentorship group, and they're on the Zoom, and afterwards we discuss the class. So our topic for today is time management, and I want to open with a quote. And the quote says, this is very interesting. It says, time is the school in which we learn and the fire in which we burn. Let me say that again. Time is the school in which we learn and the fire in which we burn. Delmar Schwartz said that. That's a powerful thought, folks. Time is just that valuable. So today we're going to be talking about time, and to get us in the proper perspective so that we'll be really open and receptive to the message, let us do our meditation. So let us just sit straight up in our seats, put our feet flat on the floor, put our hands palm down on our feet, on our knees. Let's close our outer eyes and open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this relaxed state, we are at peace with ourselves. I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm this together. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. Let that peace just sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peaceful relaxation, our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Once more. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am excited today about today's message because this is a message. The idea of time management really follows on our class from last week. Thank you for joining us on Facebook and on Instagram and on all the websites and platforms that people are watching today. Last week, we talked about the power of self-discipline, that self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And that's a powerful thought because it's saying that if we don't discipline ourselves, if we don't take control of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our habits, of our relationships, then we severely impair our ability to get things done, to get desired results. All things happen over a time continuum. In other words, everything happens in time. So the results that we get depends on how we manage our time. How we manage our time determines our level of success. In our book, In the 12 Universal Laws of Success, on page 147, one of the things we put time management under the law of value. And the law of value says this as a scriptural reference, and this is not religion. They're scriptural principles. These principles are in all of the, you might say, the spiritual or religious texts. And it says, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and attack you. That's Matthew 7th chapter, 6th verse. And so what we're really saying is we're talking about the transference of consciousness. So don't give your talents, your values, your pearls to people who, or things that may not be worthy of them. So the idea of time management is, how do we really give our God-given gift, our time, our attention, our activities, our thoughts, our emotions on a level that it works for us? And so time is considered the most valuable thing we have. You know, the universe is really based on three principles: time, energy, and order. In other words, time is the existence. According to the definition, time is what's happening right now. Time and energy are interchangeable in the sense that energy equals E equals MC squared. Energy and matter are interchangeable. So all the things that we experience, mass, matter, manifestation, have an equivalent energy vibration. And then all of this takes place over time in accordance with a certain order. We call this God consciousness, good consciousness, the Creator's consciousness. So the moment we are born, we are literally born into time consciousness. In the Indian philosophy, prana, P-R-A-N-A, prana means breath, prana means energy, prana means life force. So the moment we take that first breath, we literally come onto the time plane. And from that time until we make our transition, we are given the greatest gift of all, time. So how we use this time over this allotted period from our birth to our transition really determines the level of our success, really determines how closely we realize our purpose. So I want to think back. Time is really the greatest gift that the Creator can give us, because time and life and energy and order are what really gives us the possibilities for living. There's an interesting story, an interesting parable, the parable of the talents. And it talks about the fact that the master was leaving, and he called in his servants, and one servant he gave 5 talents, and talents are anything of value. Another servant he gave 2 talents, another servant he gave 1 talent. The master went off, and when he returned, the servant who had been given 5 talents had multiplied them and doubled them. He had 10 talents. The servant who had been given 2 talents, he had multiplied them. Now he had 4. But the servant who had only been given 1 talent, he said that the master, he said, "You're a tough and harsh master, and I didn't want to lose them, so I buried them." In other words, I did nothing with the talents that you gave me. So time is the greatest talent that the Creator has given us. What we do with that time is our gift to the Creator. So we can either use that time wisely and create the life of our dreams, or we can use that time frivolously and get whatever the world mind has in store for us. You know, we always talk about life as a garden. And so gardens have weeds. Nobody has to plant weeds, but if you don't tend your garden, weeds will appear. Similarly, if you don't take advantage of your time, if you don't use your time wisely, the weeds will consume it and it will slip away like sand. You know, when you go to the beach and you take up a handful of sand, if you just hold it, soon it will slip away. It will blow away. It will sift through the cracks in your fingers. So time is a great value given to us by the Creator. So how do we use this time properly? How do we manage it properly? Well, key thing to realize that time is the great equalizer. And so each of us is given an allotment of time. And at this point in this year, I think that we all want to know, what do we have to do to utilize the remaining time in this year to put ourselves in a position to experience success, prosperity, happiness, and joy. Because time is the one thing we have that we can transform our lives to greatness or to lack and limitation. How we use this gift of time is the key to our success. So how do we do this? First, the time dictionary, the dictionary of time, the definition of time in the dictionary says that time is the point or place at which things occur. So time is really the concept of nowness. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Yesterday is a canceled check. Now, today, what you do right now is legal tender, is cash money. So there are two types of time. There's clock time, and that's the time that the universe, in other words, the clock time says that there's 60 seconds in a minute, there's 60 minutes in an hour, there are 24 hours in a day, there are 364 and a quarter days in a year. So clock time is a metric of time. The other time is real time. Real time is based on how we utilize the time. Clock time passes equally and relentlessly. But real time is relative. Real time is relative to what we do. Real time can be slow, it can be fast. In other words, real time is perceived based on the activities that we are engaging in. So, example, if you're in the car and there's a traffic jam and you're sitting there waiting for 10 minutes, those 10 minutes are 10 minutes on clock time, same one for everybody. But in real time, those 10 minutes may seem like an eternity, especially if you had somewhere to go and you're running late. Those 10 minutes seem like, wow, forever. But on the other hand, when your 16-year-old walks into the room and all of a sudden he's 6'3" and you go like, oh my gosh, he was only a baby just, oh man, an hour seems like an hour ago, yesterday, last week. So time is relative based on what we do. We live our lives from a production point of view by real time. Clock time is going to go on relentlessly. We have no choice about that. We don't change that. But we have a choice about real time. What are the activities we do in the now that can change our lives tomorrow? We create our lives in real time. The beauty of it is that anything we create, we can manage. And so how we manage our time now is the key to our success. There are really three qualities that this whole world we operate under. And there's a quality of change. The one constant in the universe is that everything changes. The absolute truth is that everything changes. The second is choice, that we have a choice about how to respond to those changes. And the third is principle, that all of these things take place in accordance with certain laws. And the laws are absolute, whether you believe in them or not. It's just like the physical laws. If you jump out the window, gravity says you're going to fall to the ground. The spiritual laws, as a man thinketh in his heart, as a mind thinketh in his heart, so is it. So your thoughts are based on how you feel about those thoughts. When we understand that the clock time is constant and the real time is what it's all about, then we realize that time is in our hands. And time is like a seed. Each moment is a seed that you plant to create tomorrow. So one of the first concepts I want us to recognize is that even the formulation, the way we talk about it, how do you spend time? If there's one takeaway I'd love for us to share is the fact that get away from the idea of spending time. Time is a great and valuable asset. And so you invest your time. And the beauty of that is that when you spend, there's a sense of finality. When you spend your money, it's gone. You get paid today, you spend the money, tomorrow you're broke. Investment is a different process. Investment is an activity with an expectation of return. So if you have an asset as valuable as time is, then why not invest it rather than just spend it? And so when we look at investing our time, that's a whole nother mindset now that can guide us to proper time management. As we invest our time, we look at kind of three things. We invest our time in thoughts. We invest our time in conversations. We invest our time in actions. And since there's only the now, then how do we think and act in the now that creates the then that we desire to experience? So let's look at this. First, look at each day as an opportunity for greatness. You know, there's certain laws that always operate, and one is the law of expectation. Whatever you expect, you get. Now, think about this. If you have no expectations, you're like the gardener who plants no flowers, and the weeds will consume the earth. So look at each day as an opportunity for greatness. I have a daily affirmation. I love to say, today is a great day for living, sharing, and being alive. When we take that attitude towards the day, then how we spend the moments of that day now have much more significance. So look at each day as an opportunity for greatness. Number two, to realize that every moment of every day we are confronted with a choice. A choice for what we're going to think. A choice for what we're going to feel. A choice for our actions, what we're going to do. A choice for our relationships. Who do we permit to come into our space to interact with us? That once we realize that everything is a choice, you know, when we go back to the Garden of Eden, there's an interesting allegory, and it talks about eating of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. That's the fruit of decision, the fruit of truth. And so when we look at time on a daily basis, then we say, every moment to moment, I have a choice about what I do, what I think, what I feel, and how I utilize this great gift. Number three, to evaluate our time spent based on the results obtained. That's a scary thought, folks. You know, many of us can live a life of excuses, explanations, denial, procrastination. In other words, we don't look at the results that we are getting and say, hey, I did this. When we get to the end of the day and the things that we set out to do, none of them get done. If we blame other people or blame other situations, then we can't fix it. And so this idea of really judging our lives and governing our lives based on the results that we're getting gives us a great power now to make better choices. There's a great, Joshua said, choose this day whom you will serve. So you either serve the positive, the can do, the glass is half full, or you serve the negative of can't do, the glass is half empty. And so as you make those choices, you get results in accord with the choices you make. The fourth key is to live by the time question. And the time question is this: what is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? Very interesting thing here. Now, if you have no goals, if you have no vision, then that spiritual thought, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where you have no vision, you fail. You fail to realize the potential for which you were created. You fail to realize your purpose. And so when we can look at each day as an opportunity for greatness, realize that each moment we're confronted with a choice, to evaluate the choices we make based on the results we get, and then to live in accordance with the time question, to ask ourselves, what is the best use of my time right now, and then act accordingly. So how is this process? How do we do this on an operational aspect? There are lots of time management books, and we've gone through many of them, but I think you can break it down to three things: an operational process. Assess, address, progress. Assess, address, progress. Assess what? Assess what you're doing right now. You know, when I've given many time management lectures, and one of them we also say, well, take an action sheet, a sheet of broken up into 15-minute slots, and write down in each what you did in each 15 minutes. And you get to the end of the day and you go, oh my goodness, I didn't do very much. So assess your allocation of time, how you have been using time, and looking at the results that you're getting. Assess those results now based on the efforts put forth. And so if you get to the end of the day and you're frustrated because you didn't accomplish the things you set out to do, then you assess what you did. Well, I took a break. I watched TV. I got disrupted. I got interrupted. I got sidetracked. I lost focus. So as you assess those things, let me just warn you, don't get so, hung up on the assessment. Get more focused on assessing the results. And so when we assess our daily activities based on the results generated, we can go back and say, now, it really doesn't matter what you did those 10 or 15 minutes, in a greater sense. What's really important is the results you got. And so what do I have to do now to change those results? So assess what it is, how you get there, what you're doing, how you're doing it. Assess the thoughts that you're living your lives under. Assess the emotions that you're permitting to come into your space. Assess the habits by which you execute your actions. Assess the relationships that you engage upon and you interact with the people. Address. The key is addressing. How do you address the results that you're getting now? To say, now, if I'm going to manage time, I got to address certain things to give me the greatest possibility to achieve the things I desire. Assess one, the clarity of your goals. Hello. If you have no goals, if they are not clear, if they are not written, if you can't feel them, if you can't see them, if you can't get that sense of realization of those goals, they're not going to happen. Assess the clarity of your vision. If you have no vision, you're going to fail. The weeds will consume your life. Assess the realization of your purpose. If you don't even see yourself as having a purpose, that's a problem. That's a challenge. So address the clarity of your goals. Address the soundness of your plan. When you have a plan, now let's go back. If you have no plan, there's nothing to address. If you have no plan, there's no way to evaluate whether it's sound or not. You just don't have one. So address the soundness of your plan. What are you doing that's effective and not effective? What are you doing with each moment of the day that's creating results that you don't want? Address the execution of your plan. Now, this is the big one. You see, the execution of your plan embodies the choices you make from moment to moment. So many of us write great plans, great detailed plans, but then the test of the plans is the choices you make on a moment-to-moment basis. If you don't make the proper choices on a moment-to-moment basis, you will not get the desired results, period. Then the fourth key of addressing is to focus on results. The authenticity of your plan, the operation of your plan is based on the results that you're getting. If you're not getting the results that you desire, then maybe your goals need to be clarified. Maybe your plan needs to be revised. Maybe your actions need to be totally changed and upscaled and up. You have to energize yourself better. And always the results that you want, the results that you desire. So that's addressing. So how do you progress? When we finish today, how do you go out and get busy? How do you take steps to get things done? Number one, monitor your progress on a daily basis. Now, in chapter 7, in the law of action, we tell you about getting a planner and reading your plan. Now, that's like square one. You got all that's got to be done. If you haven't done that, then all this doesn't make sense. But monitor your progress on a daily basis, because it is in the day, in the activities of the day, in the moment-to-moment decisions that you make during the day that the results are determined. Number two, operate from a schedule. If you don't schedule the things that are important to be done during the day, guess what? They will not get done. It's the weirdest thing, you know, if you don't have a schedule, you can have a to-do list, but I mean, super do, all kind of class 8 topics, things that's got to be done. I mean, these are must-haves, must-dos. But if you don't schedule them, there's a good possibility they won't happen. 3, operate based on the 80-20 rule. So what's the 80-20 rule, Doc? The 80-20 rules is when you analyze, and over the years, many people have analyzed, it's found that generally 80% of the results that you get at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, 80% of the results that you get depend on 20% of the activities that you do. 80% of the results depend on 20% of the activities. And so, if you want to change the results, then change the activities. Focus on that 20% that really gets the big bang for the buck. Focus on that 20% of the things that you do each day, each week, that give you great results. 80-20 rule is amazing. We spend so much time often on the 80% frivolous, unproductive endeavors, when if we put that same time into those 20%, those things that get the results, our lives will change. Number 4, plan your day each night before. Plan your day the night before. When you plan your day the night before, you literally put the law of expectation into play. You give your subconscious mind the opportunity to get to work, bringing about the things that you want to do, be in hand for that day. So when you plan your day the night before, you have given yourself a leg up. When you don't plan your day the night before, guess what? It won't happen. That the results that you get will not be, mostly, will not be the things that you want. Things happen. I mean, good luck happen. Good things happen. Okay. But if you want to be in control, you have to plan your day the night before. Plan your week. At the end of each week, you should be evaluating your results for that week and then plan the next week. Plan your month. At the end of each month, you should evaluate the plan the next month so that you can accomplish your full year goals. But all of these things boil down to what you do right now. The one thing that you have to change your life, to transform from what you are to what you want to be, is the moment right now. And if that moment is guided by the time question and the affirmative, you'll get there. Number 5, visualize the results you want. You know, many times we'll lay out a plan for the day and we'll work on that plan. But if we visualize the results, we see the plan has already executed. You see the day exactly the way we want it to do in our visualization. Then we give a whole nother level of energy. Remember, the universe, time, energy, order. You give a whole nother level of energy to manifesting that you desire. Number 6, identify those time wasters. We know what they are. Interruptions, telephone, all those things that waste your time. Identify them and avoid them. There's step-by-step methods to do that, to plan out how to avoid the interruptions. So do that. And then finally, number 7, commit to get better and better. When you know more, when you can do more. When you work harder, you get greater results. And so to summarize today, we've covered a lot today in this time management piece. And I recommend that you go and you get our book and read the section on the law of value, the time management, read the section on the law of action, because action is really where it takes place. What you actually do is the seed that you plant in the garden of creation. So let's go back. There are 3 aspects of life. There's time, there's energy, and there's order. Time is the gift from the Creator. How we use that time is our gift to the Creator. There's clock time, 2 types of time. Clock time, which is the digital time, and then there's real time, what you do with the time allotted. There are 3 key principles in the universe. The principle of change, that the one constant is everything changes. The principle of choice, and the principle of order. These 3 things really guide us through life. Invest in the now. Every day is an opportunity for greatness. Every moment we're confronted with a choice. Evaluate our choices based on the results we get, and to live our lives in accord with the time question. Is this the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? From an operational perspective, assess, address, progress. Assess where we are, assess what we do. Assess how we have invested the time that we've been given. Address that, the things that we want based on the clarity of our goals, the soundness of our plan, the execution of our plan, and the results we get. And then from a daily operational point of view, monitor our progress on a daily basis. Operate from a schedule. Abide by the 80-20 rule. Plan each day the night before. Visualize the results that you desire. Identify and avoid time wasters, and keep going and growing. And I'd love to close with a poem. And the poem says this. It says, time is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or use it for good. What I do today is important because I am exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place something I have traded for it. I want it to be gain, not loss. Good, not evil. Success, not failure. In order that I will not regret the price I paid for it. So manage your time, manage your life. Our dreams are built on the wings of time. The blueprint of our dreams is manifested through the diligence of our efforts, the clarity of our goals, and the execution of our plans. When we can do these things, when we can assess, address, and progress, we can be what we want to be. We can do what we want to do, and we can have whatever we want to have, always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is. Whew. Wow. So let's just take a deep breath for a moment. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know, we have some great things planned, and would love to hear from you. Love to hear how our messages, our books, our writings, our classes have transformed your lives. Email me at herbert@herbertharris.com. We'd love to have you as a part of our new book, our next book, sharing lives of people just like you who've been taking the bull by the horns and used their time in the most efficient fashion. Email me, herbert@herbertharris.com. Also, I always like to give everyone the opportunity to confirm the knowledge, to confirm the message that they got today. And so those of you, any of you who listen to this broadcast, if you feel so compelled, if inside you say, I want to do something, I want to confirm this message, then go to our Cash App, $Herbie Man, $HERBYMAN, and act accordingly. Once again, this is Dr. Herbert Harris saying, you can be what you want to be, you can do what you want to do, and you can have whatever you want to have, always knowing that the best